Hello again. We learned that two men were stabbed in the centre of the English town of Epsom yesterday morning, and that three people are in custody for the attacks. This incident is a perfect example of how the deliberate taking of life in Britain, together with murderous assaults which have survived, has changed its nature in the last 20 years or so. For a couple of hundred years, murders in this country have been domestic affairs, which take place in people's homes and are usually committed against the relatives and friends of the killer. Of course, there have always been exceptions to this general rule, people like the Cray brothers or Jack the Ripper, but by and large, murders and manslaughter always took place indoors. What we are now seeing, though, is a radical change in this pattern, because a very large proportion of such deaths these days take place in the street. In other words, murder has changed from a private matter to a public exhibition. Not only that, but the victims are also changing. Not so long ago, people almost invariably killed their husbands or wives or other close family members or friends when they felt inclined to commit murder. But these days there is an increasing trend for strangers to be killed for some trifling reason, often related to criminal activity. Of course, this has happened before in this country, but such crimes were rare. More and more often, though, this is the nature of British homicide, that it is carried out publicly against people who have no real connection with the killer. This type of crime is often the work of particular groups, and it reaches its logical conclusion in attacks where more than one stranger is targeted. I had best not explore this theme too openly here because YouTube is notoriously sensitive about the matter, but I've written a piece on my Substack account which is free to read, and I give a link to it in the description to this video. I rather fancy that viewers might find it interesting.